Well, hello there, folks. How are you? It's Kenneth James Kerr once again, and thank you so much for joining me today in this video library. I do appreciate you, yes, you, being here today. A couple of days ago, I made the recording for vignette number 1. And if you've watched that video, you'll recall that the quotation went like this: greet each day with love in your heart, hope in your spirit, and gratitude in your soul. And I gave you a little exercise. I suggested that you say this to yourself: I am grateful for, and then you fill in the blank. Now, of course, that's a very, very important exercise, and it is very powerful, because as soon as you ask that question of yourself, your mind starts to give you answers. Oh yeah, I'm grateful for this and that and that and this and that over there, and so on. And in doing that, you begin to fill your mind and your heart and your emotions and your feelings with the good feelings of appreciation for the things that are in your life. It really is incredibly powerful. Today we're going to take it a wee step further. Today I'm going to ask you this question: how would you like to have something that would allow you to create gratitude on demand? I mean, surely that would be very, very important, wouldn't it? That would be something that would mean a lot to you. So let's do that today. So we're going to go to the third vignette in the book. And if you have the paperback, it's page 11. If you have the hardback, it's page 17. And this is what the quotation says: I highly recommend that you get your own gratitude rock and allow it to become precious to you. I highly recommend that you get your own gratitude rock and allow it to become precious to you. So today we're going to talk about a gratitude rock. Well, the whole idea of a gratitude rock, it's not original with me. I can't claim that, and I will not claim that. I first came across the idea, first heard about the concept in the movie The Secret. So that really is going back probably about 17 years ago. And I was watching the movie, and if you've seen it, you might remember that section where there's a chap talks about, this is my gratitude rock. And someone said, well, what is it? He said, well, it's a rock that I hold. And when I think of something I'm grateful for, I make sure I'm touching that rock. And sometimes I'll just touch it and then deliberately think about things that I'm grateful for. And now I just touch it and I feel gratitude. And I remember seeing that in the movie. I'd never heard of such a concept. And I remember thinking to myself, man, that makes sense. Oh, I like that idea. And so I kind of put it away in my mind and really didn't think much more about it at that time. But later on, I managed to get my own gratitude rock. So what's the idea behind it? Well, it's exactly what we've just said. It's a rock that you can carry with you wherever you go, put it in your pocket, and get to that point where every time you're grateful, you touch it. Now, what are you doing? You are creating something called an anchor. What's an anchor? It's when two things that might seem to be separate actually get linked together so that when you think of one, the other one fires off. Now, let me give you an example. How many of you have heard a piece of music on the radio and all of a sudden you start thinking about somebody? Why? Well, maybe it was someone you were dating when that music first came out. And so whenever you hear that music now, even if it's been 40 years since you heard it, instantly you start to remember that individual. You start to think of that person. That's an anchor, right? Now, anchors can certainly serve us. Anchors can create wonderful feelings and emotions, but unfortunately sometimes anchors can also create the wrong kind of feeling, those feelings we don't want, So if somebody was mean to you at some stage, or you had a terrible experience and something was associated with it, and you see that or hear that or you smell that aroma or whatever it may be, and it was associated with something terrible in your life, you're going to think about that as well. Well, with a gratitude rock, you're taking this very powerful concept of an anchor and you're deliberately creating an anchor that will serve your highest good. That is what the concept of a gratitude rock is, so that you can touch it later on when the feelings have been associated with it and feel the feelings of gratitude on demand. So that's basically what a gratitude rock is, and that's what it's about, and that's where I first heard about it. So now, let's talk about my gratitude rock, because yes, I do have one. Here it is. Now, let me tell you the story about it. Quite a number of years ago, this actually is 16 years ago. 16 years ago, we were living in Ontario, Canada. We were living in a village beside the longest freshwater beach in the world, Wasaga Beach. Gorgeous location. And we were living there. And my wife and daughter came out to Saskatchewan, where we now live, which is a good couple of 1,000 kilometres away. And they came out here for the summer. Well, I stayed in Wasaga Beach. I was working on a business and working on some ideas at the time. And of course, I missed them. Well, finally, we got to the stage where it was time for them to come back. And they decided to take the Greyhound bus, right? So they took the bus and they came back to a place called Sudbury, Ontario. And I drove up to Sudbury to meet them. Well, I was so happy to get back together with my family. It was great. And when we were there, we decided to go down a mine. A massive, great big nickel mine at Sudbury, Ontario. So we went down that to check it out, see what it was like. And when I was down there, feeling so happy that my wife and daughter were back with us, and it was just so great. And we were down in this mine and they had this big bucket full of rocks. And I looked in it and I kind of moved some rocks around and I saw this one. And instantly, it's as if it called out to me. Hello there, hi, guess what? I'm your gratitude rock. No, it didn't quite do that, but let's say that I was instantly attracted to it. You see, it's the perfect gratitude rock. It's small enough to go into the pocket, it's heavy enough for me to know that there's something there, and it's smooth enough not to cause any damage to the lining of the pocket. And when I picked it up, I was blown away because there's an indentation right in here that if I do this, my thumb and my finger around it fits perfectly. And I said, you're coming home with me. You are my gratitude rock. And so I bought it. And all day I did this, got used to it, said, this is great. And of course I was feeling such happiness to have my family back from Saskatchewan. So, fast forward to being in Wasaga Beach. Every single day I would walk along that beach, or I would cycle it. Now, when I was walking it, I would carry this rock. And I deliberately would think of things that I was grateful for as I was walking along the beach, looking at the gorgeous water, listening to the waves, looking at the sand, enjoying the day, and thinking of good things and holding on to this thing. And it literally did get to the stage where I could just touch it in my pocket and instantly think of things that I was grateful for and feel the feelings of gratitude. That's what the gratitude rock does. It's as simple as that. And, you know, I recommend you get one because you can see how easy it is and how nice it is to have that as part of your life. And has it become precious to me? Oh, yes, more than I can say. There are few things that I have in this house that are more precious than that. So a gratitude rock is going to serve you in the good times. You make sure that you anchor it to those feelings that you want, gratitude, happiness, joy. And so in the good times of life, you anchor it, and to create the good times, you touch it. So it's going to serve you then. What about the bad times? What about the tough times? Is it possible that a gratitude rock can actually serve you when things go wrong? I was to find out that it can. but it wasn't a very nice time of my life. 1 year after we got that gratitude rock, it felt like our whole lives fell apart. It was 2007. The business that I'd spent a year trying to get going didn't, and we were financially strapped. The creditors were beginning to call as we were getting behind on bills, and I was beginning to feel really concerned that the business wasn't going to get going. And into that environment, my dad over in Scotland had a heart attack, and I couldn't get across to see him. Well, that was stressful, obviously. Time went on and we kept hoping he was going to be okay, and he got out of the hospital, and my mum, who'd been disabled for 38, 39 years, went into a home, and we thought, yeah, they're going to pull through, he's going to get through. And all of a sudden, in August of 2007, beginning of August, I got the phone call that my dad had passed away. Well, I went across to Scotland, found the money, went across to Scotland. Felt terrible, of course, that I hadn't been there a few days previously to actually see him alive. And we buried my dad. We started clearing out the family house, because obviously Mum wasn't going to go back there, because she, disabled, and she was now in the home. And as I'm cleaning out the house, my sister comes into the house and crying, and I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "It's Mum. She's had heart failure." Well, long and the short of it is, I says to Mum, "Mum, are you going to go and get treatment for this?" And she said, "No." I said, "Do you know what you're saying?" She said, "Yeah, I do." So, as it turned out, I had to get back to Canada. So I said my goodbyes to Mum, knowing that I would probably never see her again. Got on the plane in the morning, got back to Canada, got to sleep at night, awakened with a phone call. Mum had passed away. It's almost impossible for me to talk about this without feeling the feelings of it. I didn't know who I was. I'd started off August as a son with two parents. And here I was 2.5 weeks later. It felt like I'm an orphan now. Who the heck am I? What's my identity? And to say that I went into shock, it doesn't even get it. I mean, the business wasn't getting anywhere. The creditors were calling. We were behind on bills. And here I was in this unbelievable situation of not even knowing who I was. Well, the only thing I could do was walk that beach. And as I walked that beach, I held on to this rock as if my very life depended on it. And maybe in some ways my sanity depended on it. Now, did it change things? Of course not. Didn't bring Mum and Dad back. Didn't suddenly create a financial business empire or windfall. But I'll tell you what, folks, it helped. This actually helped. All the good feelings, all the good thoughts, all the good emotions that I had wrapped into this thing, and the sense of holding it helped to provide balance to the experience. And it actually allowed me to think about the good times with Mum and Dad as well. So it didn't change the situation or the circumstances, but it changed me. Well, let me go back, folks, to the quotation for this vignette. I highly recommend that you get your own gratitude rock and allow it to become precious to you. You can use it in the good times, and you can certainly use it in the tough times. I pass this lesson on to you now. I encourage you to go out there and find one. Go to a gift shop if they've got little rocks, or a spiritual shop, or just go along a lane a gravel road, or go down to a beach or something, or in their backyard, and see what you can find. And allow this concept to go to work for you, that you can create gratitude on demand. This is Kenneth James Kerr, and I'll see you in the next video.